This is a case of a 30-year-old Ethiopian male who presented with progressive scarring allopathic patches over the vertex, extending to frontal and parietal areas. He has had this disease for a few years now. Physical examination revealed bald patches with mild follicular erythema and scaling. Hair pull test is positive around the patches. The central areas are atrophic with mild erythema. There are no pustules or blisters. It was decided to take a biopsy to see what exactly the disease is. This is the skin biopsy. You can see the samples here. You also can see in the samples the distinct 3 layers of the skin. So starting from superficially with the epidermis at the very top, which is darker and sort of a brownish color. As you move deeper, you have the dermis and then the hypodermis. You can see it quite clearly here. So epidermis, dermis and hypodermis. We have gone through the other steps of preparations of the slide that was shown on the previous video, but we will just look at the sectioning part and also the part where the sample is put on a slide and then can be reviewed. So you can see again how sectioning is done. Again, I believe 3 microns. Again, the samples are placed in this 56 to 57 degrees Celsius water, and you can see it here, all those section parts. Some extra parts of the wax is being removed, and the sample is picked up by this slide, and you can see it here. And this then can go into the staining machine, which you will see next. Just before staining, we need to put the samples into this machine, which heats up the samples and to 100 degrees Celsius and gets rid of any extra residual wax. And as you can see, the sample was placed into the staining machine, and H&E stain was used to stain the samples. You will see the stained samples next. So you can see the samples that have been stained with H&E stain, and again you can see the skin layers, epidermis, dermis and hypodermis. The last step before microscopy is mounting this slide to sort of secure it. You see that other cover slide? You apply special pathology glue, and the main slide is sort of pressed on it, and now the slide is secure and there wouldn't be any damage to the samples. This is the slide seen on microscopy. You can see mild hyperkeratosis of the basket weave structures of the dermis, As you can see here, there are thick collagen bundles. Dermis reveals scattered pigment incontinence, that is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. The melanin pigment, which was obviously originally in the basal layer of the epidermis, has sort of leaked out and leaked out into the dermis, and now histiocytes, or sometimes called melanophages, have phagocytosed them, and they're present there in the dermis. There's a presence of inflammatory cells scattered around the dermis. You can see a more close-up picture of the dermis and the epidermis here. You can see the hair follicle here finally, and there is decreased amount of hair follicles present on the slide. The hair follicles that are present show atrophic changes, and there is scar tissue formation on some of the previous hair follicles. So the final diagnosis that was made on pathology is scarring alopecia that is consistent with CCA, that is central centrifugal cicatricial alopecia.